Have you ever heard the saying the apple never falls far from the tree? As an English learner, you might have wondered what on earth does that mean? Let me tell you a funny story about a time when someone misunderstood this idiom. My friend Alex was talking about his son, who had just started a new job at the family business. The apple really didn't fall far from the tree, did it? Alex said proudly. But his colleague, who was new to English, thought he was literally talking about an apple falling from a tree. So, what does this idiom actually mean? It's a way of saying that a child often resembles their parent in behavior, personality, or abilities. The apple refers to the child, and the tree is the parent. The idea is that the apple, or child, doesn't stray too far from the parent tree. Let me give you an example of how this idiom is used correctly. My friend Sarah is a talented artist, just like her mother. Whenever Sarah paints a beautiful landscape, her mom says, "The apple really doesn't fall far from the tree, does it?" You see, Sarah has clearly inherited her artistic abilities from her mother, just as the idiom suggests. Here are some more examples of how you can use the apple never falls far from the tree. In a casual conversation, "My brother is just like our dad, the apple doesn't fall far, you know?" In a formal setting, the new CEO's leadership style is very similar to his father's, as the apple doesn't fall far from the tree. In a negative context, "I'm worried my son will follow in his father's footsteps and get into trouble, as the apple never falls far." In a humorous context, "My little sister is just as clumsy as our grandpa, the apple doesn't fall far from the tree." To help you remember the meaning of this idiom, think of an apple literally falling from a tree. The apple doesn't roll too far away, right? It stays close to its parent tree. So, when you hear "the apple never falls far from the tree," just picture that visual and you'll instantly understand what it means. Now, let's explore some fun facts about this idiom. The phrase is believed to have originated from a German proverb and was adopted into English in the 19th century. This idiom reflects the observation that children often resemble their parents in terms of character and behavior. In some regions, the idiom is expressed as "the apple doesn't fall far from the trunk," or "the acorn doesn't fall far from the oak." There are a few other idioms and phrases that are similar to "the apple never falls far from the tree." Like father, like son, this expresses the same idea of a child resembling their parent. Chip off the old block, this suggests the child is a smaller version of the parent. Birds of a feather flock together, this implies that people with similar characteristics tend to associate with each other. On the other hand, an opposite idiom would be "the black sheep of the family," which suggests a child who doesn't follow the family's traditions or values. Let me show you how you can use this idiom in your own way. For example, you could say, "My sister is just as stubborn as our mom, the apple doesn't fall far from the tree." Or you could rephrase it as, "My sister has inherited our mom's stubborn personality." I remember a time when a colleague of mine used this idiom perfectly in a conversation. He was talking about his boss, who had just promoted his son to a senior position in the company. "The apple doesn't fall far from the tree, does it?" my colleague said, implying that the boss had favored his own son over more qualified candidates. Now, let's talk about some common mistakes people make when using this idiom. Grammatical error: the apples never fall far from the tree. The correct form is singular, "the apple never falls far from the tree." Meaning misunderstanding: some people think the idiom means the child is exactly like the parent, when it actually suggests the child is similar, but not necessarily identical. Inappropriate context: using this idiom to describe unrelated situations, like the weather or a piece of fruit, would be incorrect. Let's test your understanding of this idiom with a few multiple choice questions. 1. What is the meaning of the apple never falls far from the tree? A. A child is exactly like their parent. B. A child often resembles their parent. C. Apples always fall close to their tree. Correct answer, B. 2. Which of these is a synonymous expression to the apple never falls far from the tree? A. Birds of a feather flock together. B. Like father, like son. C. The black sheep of the family. Correct answer, B. 3. Which of these is an antonymous expression to the apple never falls far from the tree? A. Chip off the old block. B. The black sheep of the family. C. A leopard can't change its spots. Correct answer, B. In summary, the apple never falls far from the tree is a common English idiom that suggests a child often resembles their parent in behavior, personality, or abilities. Understanding the meaning and proper usage of this idiom can really help you communicate more effectively in English. Now it's your turn. Share your own experiences with this idiom in the comments below. And don't forget to like and subscribe for more helpful English idiom lessons. Go ahead, give it a try. Use the apple never falls far from the tree in a sentence and let me know how it goes.